right, good afternoon. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. We're both awake, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Hi, y'all. I told Tom, okay, go now. I'm trying to stay awake. I'm feeling really tired right now. Like, nap sounds good.
You have any You gave up caffeine, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't drink caffeine.
How does that work? I just don't imagine.
I haven't had caffeine, or I haven't drank caffeine regularly for at least a decade. So I'm kind of used to it. Like when I go visit you, we have caffeine because you have that little extra pot. And I'm like, but that's why I had to bring my pump pot because I couldn't handle all the caffeine.
I still have that here, by the way, your travel pot.
Yeah, I know. When I come back, it'll be sitting there. Hey, Denise, good to see you.
It'll be happening for. I mean, if not sooner, we know October we're doing foundations again. So,
was that your way of announcing it, Tom?
Well, haven't we? Or no? Is that a secret?
Oh, who do we have now?
It's just us. Nobody else is listening.
Hi, y'all. That's actually on my list to talk to you about today.
You should have gotten to your list more quickly.
It's like you're psychic, Tom. That's what's happening right there. Hi, guys.
I can't talk about that. Okay, no worries.
You're the big cheese.
I'll forget we heard that.
Linda, I heard you. Denise, this is the funny thing. He's not trying to be funny right now. Right now, he's like, caught the crosshairs.
It happens all the time. I'm used to it. Yeah. I got a note from my bank, an email from my bank today saying, click on this link and get your numbers together and get out there and apply for your PPP round 2 monies.
Today.
Today.
Really good.
And I bank with the bank formerly known as BB&T, rebranded. I guess they merged with SunTrust, and now they call themselves Truist. And I don't know. I guess that's kind of catchy and maybe plays the millennials. I just doesn't roll off my tongue yet, but I'll get there one day.
You're not going to have an option, I don't think, if that's the bank that you're banking
with. That's why I had fun out of the bank. I don't know.
Well, I didn't get an email today, but they told us earlier, Monday or over the weekend, that we could apply on Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that the cat that had like the lion cut?
No. This is my mother-in-law's cat she's old and she had an accident in my mother-in-law's house. So my mother-in-law said, that's it. You don't live here anymore. And kicked her outside in the middle of winter.
Is that the one that stuck its tongue in the electrical socket?
No, that's at my office. Yeah, that's at my office. That's Olivia. This one really likes to be petted, and if you don't pet her, she will just harass you until you do. Yeah.
Looks like Rosemary is going to be able to apply tomorrow.
Yep, us too, Rosemary. But you're never mind. We're with Bank of America. Stop. And so it's like, pet me. And so I would expect them to be on top of it. They were pretty good last time. So I'm thinking they're probably even more ready this time. We'll see.
And, we're still trying to figure out, how the tax credits work and being retroactive to 2020 and being able to get them in 2021. I mean, by the time you're done with all of this, it has the potential of being a material amount of money.
Yeah. Yep. I'm happy for it. That's for sure. I heard some people saying that they weren't even going to apply for the PPP. And I know, right, Rosemary?
It depends. I mean, you have to qualify. If you don't have the 25 drop in revenue year over year.
I get that. I totally get that. But somebody was saying they just don't want the hassle. I was like, wow, you have more money than I have.
Well, think about that.
There's
I
good
don't
and
want the hassle. It's, I want to clean homes. That's just an easier way to make money. I'm going to go out and clean homes, and bill it out at maybe $40 an hour and have a, cost of goods sold to maybe half that. And I'm going to get a gross profit of maybe $20 per hour. And then I got to cover all these other bills and have all these employees and all these customers and all. Yeah, it's a much easier way to do it than.
Well, to be fair, once we started talking, she was like, "Oh, okay, the PPP is the one that I'm probably not going to have to pay back." I was like, "Yeah, that's right." And her company, it would be just so shocking if she ended up having to pay it back. I was like, "Yeah, I'm like 99.9% sure you're not going to have to pay it back. It's 100% worth your time." Oh, thank you, Maria. Same eyelashes. Yeah.
No,
There.
good. Oh,
Those are the good ones. Thanks. Yeah. I think that my cat is bringing attention to my face. Look at Liz's face. Look at Liz's face. I gave her some of the evil look, so she's not looking at me now. She's looking away.
do we want to get to work?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. Does this look familiar, guys?
Does to me.
This is like Groundhog's Day, isn't it?
Good
Over and over and over again.
Good call. Good call.
Okay, so these are our profit KPIs, and the green numbers go up and the red numbers go down, and the more the greens go up and the more the reds go down, the more profit you're going to have. Pretty simple. So what we've been spending our time on here for the last really, I guess, couple of weeks is loaded direct payroll to revenue. So Liz, you've asked me a couple of times, why did we start on that number? Who would have thought that we could actually, drill down, and we're not even done yet,
Not
but
even close, actually.
does this help illustrate how powerful that number is?
I think it really does. Are you guys feeling like that too? Like you're able to see that, oh, okay, now all of the different things that go into this number and controlling this number and driving it down. Do you see how there's a lot of opportunity to make big financial changes in your company by just focusing on this one number? Hopefully you guys do. I know that some of you do. Some of you have been here for the whole couple of weeks. So I'm sure that you are recognizing that.
So what we're talking about is driving our loaded direct payroll to revenue number down. And we can do that by making the loaded direct payroll go down or making the revenue go up. And ways that we can make the loaded direct payroll go down is reduce our labor load, and we've talked about that. Reducing our training expenses, and that's kind of where we're midstream on that. We haven't gotten to productivity and efficiency yet, so we're not going to worry about that at the moment. And all of that is on the payroll side. The other thing we can do is drive our revenue up, and there's things there that we can do, and we're going to be talking about those in the days ahead as well.
Yeah. Because there are lots of different ways to do each one of those things as well. Lots of ways to charge more per hour, lots of ways to reduce scope of work. So there's a lot of things that we can focus on to make changes. And I guess one of the overriding messages that we want everyone to have is that you have a lot of control in your business. And there are a lot of things that you can do to affect change. You don't just have to watch and, like some people do, just track the numbers and then despair when they're not where you want them to be. You actually have control to change them, to drive the green numbers up and to drive those red numbers down. We just want you to feel empowered. Oh, what was that?
We
Ooh, Katerina. Oh, she just typed in her email that she got from B of A.
Whoa, what do we got there, Liz?
That's the email.
Oh,
Yeah.
so what's the email telling us? New legislation signed into law includes provisions that further simplify the PPP forgiveness application process of loans of 150 or less, whereby a borrower signs and submits a simplified certification to the lender, among other requirements. We're awaiting additional guidance. Okay. It's all good.
So the answer to your question, Katerina, the common wisdom is yes, to wait. That currently there is no compelling reason to apply for forgiveness right now. Good. I just want to thank you all for you have taught us. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad it's helpful. Super glad.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered that for you, Katerina.
You know, thank you, Leslie. That's awesome. You know, I had somebody asking me today, you know, why are we doing this and what are we getting out of this? And it's like, again, the whole history going back to March, and it was like we didn't know what else to do. We weren't cleaning any homes, and it was an unprecedented time. And I don't know, it's having fun at the moment. Can't promise you I'm going to do it forever. I guess nothing lasts forever, right?
No.
But, you know, I feel like we're making some progress here at the moment.
And we have always talked about wanting to professionalize our industry. And so a large part of what we're doing is in that vein. We want the people in our industry to be able to run professional companies. Tom and Liz are really nice. Thanks, Robin. Well, you're pretty nice too, actually. Yeah. You know what? We have to just save this thread. Do you see this? Tom, you're funny. I look really pretty. We're nice. We're really helpful.
This is why we do this. Keep it coming. We're doing this forever.
Yeah, now y'all know why. Okay, don't tell anybody that we're this superficial.
I might have to, you know, stop cleaning homes. Why waste my time doing that? I can hang out and do this all day.
Yeah, it's more fun for sure, Tom.
Before we jump back into the deck, though, you know, you're talking about, you know, we have a lot of control, and we do, and we've all kind of been in a situation where we're looking at our P&L, and we've seen P&Ls that kind of look like this, or even, you know, this is an example of some real data that we, you know, downloaded out of QuickBooks from a company that we work with, and I mean, there's just a ton of numbers here, but you can look at this and you can calculate things like your, you know, loaded payroll to COGS and some of these other metrics, and you like just, and the real thing is down here at the bottom. If you're not making any money, what is your net income? And if you're looking at a negative number, it can feel helpless. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I'm looking at all these numbers, and I don't know what to do. I hope it looks better last week. You ever been there? I mean, I've been there, right?
Absolutely.
Anybody else here on this Facebook Live been there? You know, give me a thumbs up or a yes or something. I just want to make sure that I'm, you know, hitting on something that other people have experienced. And I think, Liz, what you're saying is you never need to be at that place where you're just hoping it's going to be better next week.
Yeah, hoping and praying, keeping your fingers crossed. Also, Tom, we do have a question here from Sandy. I'm back to the PPP information. Maybe you can help out with real quick. Sorry, I'm going to mute after cough.
I received PPP loan and we followed all the rules, no profit, but we paid our employees. Now it says I have to pay taxes on it. It was considered profit. It's $12,000. Don't have it. If you use those funds to pay, say, payroll and other forgivable expenses, and you believe that that loan should be forgiven or could be forgiven, then the new legislation that, you know, passed, you know, the CARES 2 Act or whatever it was that they, you know, signed into law there a couple of weeks ago, says that the expenses that you paid with those PPP funds are now deductible. So, you know, if you wound up making a net profit in your business because of all of that, well, you're going to have to pay taxes on that the way that you would any other year. But there was a time before this second round of PPP was approved, before all that legislation went through, that we were afraid that in addition to whatever your net profit, number is at the bottom of your P&L, we'll go over here something that's a little more condensed, whatever this number was here, if you had an extra, $12,000 of PPP funds, then you'd have to add it to that number and pay taxes on that too. That's no longer true, though.
So a couple things that I would say to look at, Sandy. The first thing is, when did you get this information? It might be old information that you're looking at. The second thing is, there might be a misunderstanding about whatever the document is that you're looking at. That's the second thing. The third thing is, maybe you make too much money. Maybe you're, I don't know, maybe you weren't eligible. Were certain size companies not eligible, or was there anything like that, Tom? I don't think so.
I mean, really large companies, arguably weren't eligible. There were programs, but on the small side, no. Independent contractors, just sole proprietors working by themselves were eligible. So there's nothing on the side, on the lower end of the size that would prohibit.
Unless you got a larger PPP loan than you were authorized for, maybe. If you got $150,000 loan, but you only had 2 employees, that could be something, maybe.
And we're saying loan. All of this is the presumption that it's being forgiven. At that point, it's money that you're not paying back. If it's not forgiven, then it's a loan that's being amortized over 5 years, and you have to pay it back, and you're not paying taxes on any of that because you're going to give it back.
So something's wonky here, Sandy. You got some wonky information here. We probably need more information. But
if you'd have been here a month ago, I would have told you that it was a concern. It was a concern of mine that we were all going to be paying more in taxes than what we were prepared to. But we were celebrating when PPP2 came out and the rules as it pertained to forgiveness of the first round and the tax part of it.
You should be fine, Sandy.
Yeah, I think you're good. I don't think it. If you use that $12,000 to cover payroll and other appropriate expenses in your business, and if you apply for forgiveness and you think that you're going to get forgiveness, you're going to be paying taxes on whatever your bottom line is, as opposed to
like you always do.
Yeah, just like any other year.
Nothing additional. So maybe look back at where you got that information, who got it for you, and then double check that source. It seems like there might be a mistake with the source or timing.
So we'll all need to, stand in the mirror and take an oath and promise ourselves that we're never going to be looking at our, P&L again, looking at our bottom line and looking at some of the expenses in our P&L and say, gee, our payroll to revenue isn't what we want it to be. Gee, I hope it's better next week, because we're learning what we can do about it, right?
Yeah. The other thing is, for all of you out there, and I know that there are a lot of you that never look at your P&L because it's too scary. Part of what we're doing through this time is we want to take the fear out of it. We want you to not see it as scary and like bad thing, something bad that you don't have control of. The reason why you would want to go look at it is because you feel powerful, like you can change it, you can make it better, you can make more money. There's so many options. So that's kind of our overriding goal here, is that you are never again afraid to look at your P&L, never afraid to open up your bank account, never afraid to look at your register, because even if the numbers are not where you want them to be, you feel like, okay, but I know there are things I can do to fix those numbers.
You need to get into the mindset that you were when you started your business. When you started your business, you were going to make it happen. and things happen along the way, and you get to a point where, the weight of the world kind of beats you down, and then you're looking at your financials, and it's like, gee, this isn't good. I hope it gets better next week. You're not making anything happen. You're just letting it happen at that point. And you might get lucky. You never know. But we want to get beyond being lucky. We want to get to the point where we can get predictable outcomes. And we've talked about why that's important. And that gets back to this stuff here, because this is how you make it happen.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time yesterday on just recruiting and talking about these things. You guys by now have figured out that our objective here is to do a strong deep dive into every area and not gloss over anything and not speed through and assume that everybody knows everything. So we wanted to move on from this today, but Tom did point out that we didn't really talk much about culture fit. So you were thinking we should probably go into culture fit just a little bit more, right, Tom?
Yeah, I think that's really, really important, because that's not as tangible. It's really easy to talk about, physical ability and background checks, and do you have a car? But, how do you, when you start getting into things like core values and culture fit, that's really kind of squishy. I don't know if that's the best word for it, but it's
I like that word.
It's more. There's a whole lot there, and we drilled on core values a little bit. We talked about core value cards, and we're kind of laughing. We sold a deck of core value cards today. We have a Shopify site that we don't even have a link out there. I don't even know how the heck they found it.
We intentionally did not give you guys the address of where to go to buy the cards because it's really hard to send these like one deck of cards off somewhere. It takes a lot of effort. Somebody found them. How did you do that? It was very funny.
We need to find out. But how does the culture fit play into this, and how do I hire based on the right culture fit?
Okay, so this is more about recruiting for that culture fit versus hiring. So recruiting is a little bit different. It's the first step in hiring, and that is first recognizing the actions that you care about in your company. What do you want to see in your people? What do you want to see them doing? How do you want to see them acting? So, for example, a culture fit in my company, the people in my company tend to move really fast. So you're not going to be a good culture fit right off the bat if you're a real slow mover and a slow talker. You're not going to fit in very well. Does it mean that there's anything wrong with you? Absolutely not. You might be a perfectly lovely person, and you might be the exact kind of person that I want as a good friend of mine, because I need somebody that's going to mellow me out and not have me running a million miles an hour. But for my company, I want people that move fast. So what do you want to see in your people? How do you want to see them acting, behaving, etc.? I also want people that are always clean and neat and tidy, that I don't care if they are pretty or old, or I don't care about any of that stuff, but I want them to be clean. It's a cleaning company. So I want a culture fit for me is people who enjoy showering every day. So not everybody does.
Do you care if they enjoy it or not, as long as they do it?
No, I want them to, for me, a good culture fit is that they enjoy it because they are showering because they want to, not just because they have to. And in 6 months, it's not going to be an effort to remind them, okay, so no, you're not feeling cheery, but you're going to have to get in there and shower. I don't want to have that conversation with anyone.
Even on the weekends?
Yes, even on the weekends. So, and maybe not. Like, I enjoy showering, but sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm just going to lounge around in my jammies all day, and I'm going to watch Netflix, and maybe I won't shower, right? But I do enjoy showering, and I enjoy showering every day. I do. So I'm looking for...
Liz, I never knew that about you. I mean, I knew that you typically, showered, but I didn't really, know that was one of your joys in life.
I do. I enjoy showering. Yeah, it's true. Some of you guys too, right? I'm not the only one that enjoys waking up in the morning and getting in the shower, and it really wakes you up. Yeah, they can take fast showers. I don't care. I don't care. We actually know somebody, Joe Walsh. I'm calling it out, Joe. If you watch this, sorry, but how fast does he shower, Tom?
It was literally it was like 2 minutes. We were. You tell the story, Liz.
So this is. It's gonna sound like we're lying, you guys. But Tom's house downstairs has like a mother-in-law apartment, and it has some separate rooms. So I stay in one, Joe stays in one, and then Tom is upstairs. So in the morning, we kind of have to share the one bathroom. Well, I have to get up an hour and a half before we have to leave the door, and I'm getting a little bit nervous because every time I've ever been there with anybody else, Derek or just anybody else that's staying there, I'm kind of used to it. I'm always up first, and then I'll get out of the shower, and then I'll go start doing stuff in my bedroom, and then they'll go into the shower. But it's getting kind of tight. It's getting down to we got like a half hour until we're leaving, and Joe is still in bed. I'm assuming he's still in bed. I'm not hearing him moving at all. That is like 20 minutes. But it's uncomfortable. I don't want to walk into his room, and there's no door over there. I would have to leave my room and then kind of call from around the corner, Joe. It's like uncomfortable. I don't want to wake him up, y'all. And Tom is going to have a tizzy fit. First off, I really don't.
Oh, come on.
You're going to get a little attitude, Tom, if we're running late.
Well, we're professional. We're promoting professionalism.
Because for Tom, a culture fit is somebody who enjoys being on time. Good culture fit for you, Tom, is somebody who enjoys being on time, likes to be on time. All right. So, y'all, it's 10 minutes before we have to leave. And I'm just getting ready to go tell Joe that, hey, dude, you got to get out of bed. You don't have time for showering. You don't have time for anything. You're going to have to just throw in your clothes, and we're leaving. He gets up, he stretches. I'm like, hey, Joe, do you know that we got to leave? And now it's like 8 minutes. Do you know that we got to leave in 8 minutes? He's like, oh, yeah, okay. He goes into the shower. I'm like, what is he doing? Are you kidding me? He got into the shower, washed, showered. He didn't have any hair at that time. He had a naked head. Got dressed, packed his whatever he had to eat for the day, and was ready to walk out the door in 8 minutes, not 1 minute late.
Probably ironed his shirt too.
What? No, he ironed the night before. He does iron everything the night before, but everything done. Brushed his teeth, everything. He did it all. I was like, wow. Okay, I made that story really long, but it was so crazy. But anyway, some people are like me. See, Julie, yes, can't get the day started without a shower. I think a lot of people that don't drink coffee too, shower is kind of like your coffee. It wakes you up. So culture fit is things that you want to.
Just for the record, I take showers too. Okay.
Most of the time.
Everybody's wondering.
Most of the time. No. But culture fit are the things that you want to see in your people. You want to see their behavior, how they act, not just what they believe in and what they say they believe in, because I'm sure that you guys know that sometimes people will say one thing, but then act another. So what a culture fit is how they're actually acting. So for me, people that move quickly, people that have a lot of energy, people that smile a lot, people that say hello first, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, every once in a while, say hi before I say hi. That when they see me, they look as happy to see me as I look to see them. Not every day, every single second, but when they see me, they're like, oh, hi. Not, oh, I hope nobody talks to me. I hope they don't notice me. That's just not going to be a good culture fit for my company. So we're recruiting people with that idea in mind, that that's what we want to see. So how you recruit for that is first identify what it is, because then when we go to write the ad, that's when you're going to start, putting things into place. But the very, very first part of recruiting is knowing what you want to see. And these are not requirements. So if I find out that somebody only showers every other day, it's not going to be like, slash, you're out of here. No, that's not how it's going to be.
If you find out in the first 2 days, I guess you could let them go because they're in that window.
Right. I'm not doing that. If they're shy and they don't talk that much, that's fine. It's just the best culture fit for me are the people that are a little bit louder, that talk more than less. And a lot of that has to do with they're not going to be freaked out by me. I'm not going to intimidate them or scare them off, or I'm not going to have to modify who I am to be around them. So is that better for culture fit, Tom? Do you guys feel like you understand culture fit better?
In a high level, we're talking about the values or the beliefs, and culture fit is the actions. So,
yeah. You guys throw a culture fit thing out there for me. Somebody that their behavior would show you that they're a good fit for the people in your company. Whatever those would be. Just because I want to see some examples of what you guys have and to make sure that you all are understanding what I'm talking about there. Tom, how about you? How about culture fit? For you right now, when you're hiring, you're looking for supervisors, managers. Those are the people that you're hiring. You're not in on the hiring process for cleaning professionals, but helping others. You want to see somebody that's helpful. I could absolutely see that, right? I'm struggling coming in the morning. The person that says, oh, can I help with that? Or the person that just waits until I get through the door so that they can get in too. I love that one, Bridget. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But, we're looking for people who, embrace some of these concepts of, efficiency and productivity. Time's important. We don't want to waste time. People who can be on time, and, people that can, follow the rules, because we do. I mean, we have a fair number of rules, and, we take them seriously. And it's anything, it's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum of, it's all about fun and we just kind of make it up as we go. And, a lot of things matter in our company.
Yeah, a lot more things matter to you than you might be thinking of. If you guys, especially those of you that are on this call that are always on here, Robin, Leslie, Roe, if you guys don't have some of this stuff already wired in, you might be struggling sometimes. I'm sure that you guys do, because most of you I've talked with. But you might sometimes struggle with, why do people sound so good? They seem like they're going to be so great. They're great in an interview. They say all the right things, but then they're not good. A lot of times it comes down to this culture fit and not just the values. A lot of times people want to blame just the values, and a lot of times it's not. It's also the culture fit. So have to change. Oh my gosh, that's such an important one. That's one of ours too, Leslie, that they can adapt to change, because in this job, you have to be able to change at a moment's notice. How many times, I don't know about y'all, but in my company, they go out in the morning and by the end of the day, something's different.
And think about, what's happened over the last year, all these unprecedented events. I mean, it's always been true that you need to be adaptive and be able to roll with change, but now kind of times 10, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And troubleshooting for themselves, absolutely, so that you don't have to get a call for every single thing, right? So this customer's key, usually I turn it to the right, but today it's not working. So they have to call, and then you have to tell them, well, jiggle to the left then. Let's try that. How about in and out? Yes, you can't freak out every time something changes. We evaluate the behaviors during the first week of training and first 30 days. Us too, and we are going to talk about that more too, Robin, in that beginning, to make sure that they're a culture fit. So because for us, at least the first 2 days is part of our recruiting process. We haven't decided to hire them, even though we've brought them on for 2 days, still part of the recruiting. So yay, yeah, this is all good stuff, you guys.
So we've identified who we're recruiting, so we know what our target is.
Yep.
Where do we go from there?
All right. So another big one, I think, is where to recruit. So I guess we can just list some of the different places that people recruit. But the reason why where is important is you have different people looking in different places for jobs. And so you have to sort of tailor your activities to those people. I'm sure that some of you have seen that you attract different people on, say, Facebook than you do on Indeed, or different people on Craigslist than you do on a poster at the grocery store. So just depending on where you recruit, you're kind of going to have to change up your ad and stuff. So I thought like we could come up with some ideas of, these are the basic places that most people currently recruit. They recruit on Indeed, Facebook, Craigslist, and then I would also say their current CPs, right? They call their current cleaning professionals. I think these are the most common places. Anybody else recruit somewhere else that they have a lot of luck, that they think, yeah, this is really just a win for me? Where'd my ad to want to list to who I want to, what's that word, Tom, after two? Listen. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And when we get to the ad, Leslie, 100%, right?
Did your little help icon get in the way, Liz?
Yes, it is. My little ClickUp icon that I'm not getting rid of, and I can't move it. Can't move it now. I'm not deleting it. It's not happening.
Facebook is interesting. I just want to say one thing about that. We've talked about this before too, that if you're recruiting on Indeed, Craigslist, I mean, those are channels like, I'm not going to be on Indeed unless I'm looking for a job, right? But people are on Facebook for a whole lot of reasons. And on Facebook, you have an opportunity to attract what they call passive candidates by going back to what we were doing in the previous slide. You can, tell stories and show pictures and videos of things going in your business that are emphasizing, your culture and your core values. And you can actually attract people to your company who aren't even looking for a job. They already have a job. And it's like, gee, these guys are kind of doing a lot of things that I think I would like to do. And they seem to, it seems to be a match. That looks fun. That looks interesting. That looks like an opportunity. I'm okay with my current job, but I think I'm going to apply to them because looking at their Facebook page, it looks like an awesome place to work.
Yeah, we know quite a few people that are really good at doing this in their businesses. There are two, I guess, three real places in Facebook, or ways to recruit. One is, like you were saying, Tom, sort of this passive, where you're just posting in your Facebook on your page, and people are seeing your company and they're being attracted to it and thinking, gosh, it looks like a good place to work. That's one. The second is they actually have a hiring platform that you can use. It sounds like Leslie. Oh, good. She's going to post it. We'll look at it. And then the third is groups. Groups is another very, very popular place to go to hire. There are a lot of hiring groups and a lot of job ad groups. And then there's also groups of people that are just the type of people that you might want to have work for you. So there are a lot of different places. All right, let's see. What do we got? What does Leslie have here? Skill.
Okay, do you want to read this? This is an important position in our company that will utilize your diverse skill set, great organizational skills, a desire to help others, a positive attitude, and characteristics you'll want to have for this. Our characteristics you want to have for this position. Tasks include answering the phone, be friendly and polite, customer service, problem-solving skills, sales, triage email. Okay. Collecting payments and so much more depending on your skills and interests. This would be a great job for someone who is either re-entering the job market, or I guess it goes on. That sounds exciting. I could maybe apply for that job.
Yeah, you know what? The thing that I like about this job, the way it's written right here, Leslie, is the beginning part. It has to speak to people. It has to sound like something that I could do or I would be interested in. It has to sound like you're talking to me, or you're talking to the candidates that you care about. A lot of times when people are talking about what they need, they write it in a way that it sounds very onerous and hard and not at all interesting. But the way you've written it here sounds like I'm an amazing person, because look, I'm like this, and look how good this sounds. I can do this, and it doesn't sound hard at all.
It's prescriptive. I mean, it's detailed. I like that, but it's not autocratic. It's not like some people take the same content, they'll write an ad, you must, you have to, and that just has a whole different feel to it. That's not good.
And I really like the last line. I don't know what the whole thing is, but I like that you're saying this would be a great job for someone who is, and I like that you've written that after you've told some of the prescriptive tasks, because that's like, oh, this is something, and it'll be a great job for, how I read it is, someone like me, if I can do all of these things. And you haven't written anything here that sounds like it's just too hard or I won't be able to do. So I really like this a lot. This is a really great opening. So
and you're planting a seed, and I don't know how you finish that, but you could go in a direction where you wouldn't really even technically want to ask, literally, are you one of these people? I mean, re-entering the job market, I guess that's okay, but you can say a lot of things there, but you can suggest that this would be great for, and you can do that all day long. And, I love it.
hey, Denise, I just saw Denise said I can hide the click up floating buttons temporarily.
Can you do that, please, just temporarily?
I don't know how. You're going to have to tell me how, Denise. So if it's hard, then just.
If you right hand click on it, is there an option to close it?
No, I checked.
Really?
No, it's back, forward, reload, save as, print, cast. It's that.
With a right hand click.
With
not a left hand click, but a right hand.
Okay, let me grab my left hand and see if it's still.
The button, never mind.
Yes, right click. Yeah, I don't see anything.
Is there anything more here to where to recruit that we should,
I don't know. Anybody else have anything else on here for where? There's tons of other places to recruit. But again, like when we're working on the numbers, you want to put your time and resources into the places where you're going to get the best results, right? Best return on your investment. And so I think that these are now currently the top 4 places to recruit from. I'm not saying that can't change. Also, you have probably recognized, if you've been around for any length of time, a lot of you have been around a while, you can find out, sometimes this will happen to you. Oh yeah, I don't get anybody on Craigslist. Never. I've never gotten anybody good. So I always use whatever. And then somebody says, yeah, Craigslist, I've been getting great people. And then you go and you run an ad on Craigslist, and it works now. So what I would remind everybody is, just because it hasn't worked in the past doesn't mean it isn't going to work in the future. Okay, when I click on the X, I'll see the options. Yeah, good job. Good job, Denise. I was afraid of that X. I did it. I hope it comes back soon, though. I'm already nervous. Okay, good job, Denise. Thanks. So as far as where to recruit, just don't let yourself get stuck And like Facebook has 3 distinct places that you can advertise. I'm sure there are even more. I know of these 3, but I'm sure there are even more ways to advertise.
So if we want to list those, you've got like the job groups. That was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't going as well as I thought. Like a company page.
Yep, your normal company page where you're just posting cool stuff that makes your company look like a great place to work.
And what's the third one?
They have a hiring platform.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
And that's true. You know, if you're not getting the response that you're used to getting from the channel that worked for you last month, try a channel that typically doesn't work for you because it ebbs and flows. It's
It
never
does.
constant.
Yep.
And the other thing is you always want to be recruiting. You might not always be hiring, but it's always a good idea to be recruiting. Now, it doesn't mean that you want to be spending tons of money on ads and stuff like that, burning a lot of cash, but a lot of these channels you can set up ads and do it without making a lot of investment of time or treasure. And it's a good idea to keep your name out there. You never know when one day to the next when you might need somebody, and it's good to have prospects in the pipeline.
You know, another place, and we don't have it on here, but another place that I have at different times at my company had really good luck is in my networking groups, because the networking groups know a lot of different places, people, etc. So I've had pretty good luck in networking groups as well.
Just like a local networking group, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't have BNI here, but those types of local networking groups. We also have like Chamber. So the Chamber, well, which is a networking group around here. So Facebook doesn't work for you. So it doesn't work for everybody all the time. Just the point there is, there's lots of different ways, right? 3 places in Facebook that you can hire. So if it's not working now, give it a couple months and check it again. Check one of the different places. Also, Nextdoor, somebody told me recently they have been hiring a lot of people in Nextdoor. So I don't know if that's an up and comer. I have not had any success on Nextdoor, but I have heard that other people have been having a lot. So
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hadn't heard that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not Nextdoor, y'all. Glassdoor.
Oh.
I'm
okay.
Sorry.
One of them doors.
Yeah, one of those doors. Yeah. I haven't had good luck with them, but I've heard other people in our industry having good luck with that. So.
And they'll take your money. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, they do have programs and they can get expensive.
They have a free option too. Glassdoor does. You don't have to pay them money.
But they'll lead you to believe that doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Kind of like Indeed. You're going to get better outcomes with Indeed if you invest in it.
Yeah.
Want to talk about the ad itself?
Yeah, let's do it. So the ad, I think that everybody recognizes this is really a big deal. Can we pull up Leslie's example again here, Tom? So when you are writing your ad, we talked about a lot of the things that we liked about this part of Leslie's ad. It's not her whole ad, obviously. But you need to be thinking about your ad in terms of the person that's reading it. How are they going to read it? And first, you want to be thinking of your culture, the culture of your company, and what kind of people that you want to be attracting to your company. So this ad, the way it's written, Oh, here's the second part. Re-entering the workforce are eager to learn and develop strong skills. There's a lot of opportunity for growth and increased hours if you desire. You do work alone, but we are dog friendly, so you can bring your dog if you have one. Oh, wow, that's cool. You can bring your dog if you have one. That's awesome. All right, so when you read this ad, everybody will interpret some things about the customer. About the company, just like when you see somebody. The minute you see somebody, within the first 30 seconds, you've already made some judgments about this person, whether or not they're strong enough, whether or not they're going to, whatever the things are. There's so many different things that our brains are just judging machines. Yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad, up, down, left, right. That's just how our brains work. And so when you're reading an ad, same thing. Do you guys notice that this is now a different cat that has decided to sit in front of me and stare at me until I pet her?
How many cats do you have now?
I have this cat here. This is the lion cat. Oh, stop. This is the lion cat. I have this cat. And then my mother-in-law's cat is staying here over the winter. So we're fostering her. And then we have another outdoor cat that comes in and visits every now and again. So that's all. But apparently this is a great place for my cats to watch me and stare at me until I pet them. All right, so back to the culture. When you look at Leslie's ad, you get a feel for this company. You might not even be able to put your finger on it, what's great about it, as a person that's looking for a job. But the first thing that you got to get a feeling of, this sounds like a good place to work. I could work here. This sounds something like me. This sounds like people like me, the type of people that I am. And if they get that thought, then they're going to keep reading. If they don't, they won't. So I love that she says you do work alone, but we're dog friendly, so you can bring your doggo if you have one. So a couple things here. Dog friendly automatically tells you, okay, you go away now. She wants to be petted really bad. So I have to hit the desk and make her leave. Sorry, y'all. All right. So she says that they like dogs. Great. We know that this is going to be a friendlier type place, that they let you bring your dog to work. It's going to be not huge into rigid rules. The term doggo instead of dog even gives you like a feeling of, okay, these people are more relaxed. They do nicknames. So you get a feel from just simple, the word part of the ad too. So it's really, really important that you are hitting on the culture of your company in anything that you are writing like this. The other piece that Tom, do you know what we meant by platform? I'm the one that wrote that, but I can't remember what I meant.
That may have been kind of mixed in with where to recruit.
Maybe I might have had that and then pulled out where.
Are you talking about the ad? Maybe if it's you're using an applicant tracking system and it's incorporated in something like Snag or People Matter, one of those maybe.
I think
there are platform tools that will help you craft your ad and kind of where the application is filled out. That could be part of it.
So a couple of other things about your ad. So first is it's got to reflect your own culture, period. That has to be one of the very, very first things that you are looking at. Because if it doesn't, then on day one in your company, the person is going to feel like this is not the company that I applied to. And this is, I don't like this place. This isn't for me. They're instantly going to feel like they don't belong there, and they're going to be looking for a way out right off the bat. So if you're having people leave your company within the first 2 days, and especially if they ghost you or don't show up, you've probably got a culture problem in your ad. All right. So most likely your ad is not not directly speaking to the applicants about who you are. All right, here's an example. For a long time, I was seeing ads that were saying a fun place to work. And that was like, that was a thing. We do all of this fun stuff. We have breakfast, and I can't even remember all the different stuff, but a really fun place to work. And then when I would go and see these companies, so 3 specifically that I went and I saw, and let me watch what happens on the first day. And actually just like the first 20 minutes of when the brand new employee walks in, there is nothing that looks fun about this company at all. Right. If you are hiring on fun, it's got to look fun.
Saying it's a fun job is a tell, though. And I think that most people at a subconscious level read that, and with skepticism. It's not like, oh, well, that's fun, I'm going to take it. It's almost like, a restaurant advertising, and it says, good food. It's like, well, that's not real compelling. If they can't tell a clearer, more concise story, if you can't tell, you need to tell a more concise story than saying, it's fun.
Unless your company is really fun. If that's like one of the big things that your culture revolves around is fun, if they show up in the first 15 minutes and there's a celebration and a hat is popped on somebody's head and we sing a song, and if that is the culture.
No. But you would tell that story in a way that would emphasize it more. We are really a fun place to work. We maybe give a couple reasons to believe. So, yeah. Oh, heck yeah, that does sound fun.
Yes, absolutely. But a lot of times people, I think, going to what you're saying, Tom, I think your point is, I think our points are the same. That just if you're going to put it in your ad, you have to be able to live it. You have to live that thing, whatever it is, because otherwise it has no impact at all. It doesn't work. In your case, Tom, you're saying that sometimes people are just not even going to believe what you're saying. It's not going to impact them in that way.
You're going to discount it. Like they're mailing it in. They're just saying that.
Yeah. Like everybody says their company is a fun place to work or a great place to work, or,
Yeah.
Well, what's great? Why is it great? What's making it great? One of the things that Leslie had in hers was great place to work for someone who is, and then she tells who it's a great place to work. Now I believe it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But just great place to work, fun place to work, that's not going to work for you. Okay. Price.
Are we talking about what the pay is, maybe?
I was talking about both. So when you're going to run an ad, you do need to pay attention to how much it costs, but also how you do need to make sure that you have the wage in there, but how much the ad costs is going to matter. So and this goes to your point earlier, Tom, and I think I started to write a whole bunch of stuff, and then I was like, these were just some examples of things that we want to talk about with the ad, because there's so many different things about the ad. But the price does matter, because if you, because you hear all the time, always be hiring, right? Always be hiring. Well, it depends on what you're paying for an ad.
We are really getting down to the wire here.
Yep. No, we're past the wire, Tom. It's 3:00 straight up, or I guess 6:00 where y'all are.
Or it could be 5 or 4, just depending, or maybe something else if you're in another part of the world. But It is top of the hour. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to cheat.
Yeah.
In a minute.
No, it's top of the hour. We got on here a minute late, so it's feeling like we have a little extra time, but yeah, we don't. So you guys, hopefully we're not moving too slowly through all of this. We got a very small amount done today. I'm going to try and move just a little bit faster tomorrow, but I did think that Tom was right, that the culture fit really needed to be hammered on a little bit more. Yeah, you know what, Robin, that might be closer to what I'm thinking of too, right? Always be interviewing instead of always be hiring, or maybe
No,
always.
never say always be hiring. Don't ever let that get confused. Yeah, it's not about the hiring, but you always want to be recruiting and interviewing. You always want to have people in the pipeline.
Yeah, getting people in the pipeline is a big deal. But you don't want to be spending the same amount of money when you really need people as when you don't really need people. So let's get out of this for today.
We're going to talk about this ad price a little bit tomorrow, and we're also going to talk about, do you put the salary in, and how do you promote that? There's a lot of other tips in terms of graphics and headlines, and just some of the nuts and bolts basics on ads. We'll kind of get into that as well.
How to put if you are going to put your wage in there, are you going to put hourly, commission? You're going to put it by the day, the month, the hour, the year? I know people that put it in by the year. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Not too slow. Love it. Okay, good. I'm glad, Bridget. Thank you. That's excellent feedback.
Okay, now it's past the top of the hour, Liz.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll pick it up here. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.